Welcome to Chicks Outside the Box. This week we have a wonderful spirit who happens to be an up-and-coming star in the music industry. We welcome the real Jay Israel to the show for the interview. As a special treat, we are featuring his music on Good Vibrations. Will we feel the vibe or a short circuit? I'm Kessie. I don't do this show alone. My fellow chicks and hosts are Neka and Eche. Good evening, ladies.
Hey, lady.
Before we start our interview with the real Jay Israel, I'm turning the mic over to Eshe for words of wellness. Eshe, over to you.
Thank you, Kessie. So, light. When I see the light, I truly am. All others are illumined. When I judge myself harshly, I may find myself being hard on others as well, an obstacle for healthy relationships. If judgmental thoughts about others come into consciousness, I ask myself, why am I defending myself? Why am I trying to make myself right by making them wrong? I breathe and bring myself back to the present moment. I practice self-compassion by remembering I am perfect, whole, and complete, and I'm a being of light. And all others are beings of light. When I see myself in the light, I see the truth about myself. I learn to see the truth in others. Instead of harshness between us, there is harmony and peace. What I see possible for myself and others after sharing those words is just sometimes remembering to take a moment and relax and evaluate a situation before making any decisions, before being rash, and before judging others. Over to Neko for our opening interview with the real Jay Israel.
Awesome. Thank you, Eshe. I love what you shared. Jay, welcome to the show, and thank you for being our guest for the interview.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. In our opening interview, we're going to learn a little about the real Jay Israel and a challenge he faced regarding his well-being that could have knocked him out of the game, but somehow he made it through and is stronger today. Remember, well-being can be physical, mental, spiritual, or even financial. So let's get started. Jay, can you please share a time when you faced a challenge to your well-being and the impact it was having on your career or your life in general?
The one that comes to mind is, I would say, was the most challenging situation or circumstance that I've ever faced it to my well-being, whether, just to life period, was the moment when my niece was murdered. And it truly changed my life permanently. Everything that I ever had to deal with in life. She was 7 months pregnant, and she was murdered, and they had to bury her, and would have been my great nephew. And so, and that was just an extremely challenging moment to just the mental well-being, but anything that affects the mental will eventually affect the physical, and everything else. And so, that was the most challenging time, but I pulled through it for the better. It is truly the reason I am doing music today, because I had given up on doing music and was caught up in, for me, which was religion at the time, something that I grew up in all my life. And so when that happened, it really shook my whole world and changed things and caused me to change. It caused me to wake up and realize that life is truly, short. It's a true statement, and that one day we're here and the next we could be gone. And so, that really shifted me majorly.
How were you able to use your upbringing and the religion to kind of support you through this? Because that is definitely very difficult and could be overwhelming.
Exactly. Of course, being a person of faith and trust. But like I said, it shook that because it made me begin to question the Creator, question God, something I had never done. But because I've always sang, and so I leaned on that, and so I wrote a song that helped me, and not just me, but helped the family and friends and everybody get through it. Just because faith, and so I wrote a song that was titled "We'll See You Again." And so that was, like I said, there was many different things taking place there mentally, just trying to analyze, okay, what happened? Why didn't God save her? Why didn't he, protect her? Where was he? It's just a number of questions that go through your head, especially when you're growing up, in the faith. And so it just began to, unravel a lot of things. But I did write a song that helped me get through it because, of course, music is spiritual, mental, all that good stuff. And so it was able to, bring me through to this point. And that's been 10 years ago that happened.
Wow. It's a lot of growth. So during that time that you were dealing with that challenge, did you make anyone wrong, or yourself, or the circumstance? Like, how did the world occur as you were like making things, or like what was happening during that time for you? That was, during that challenge.
Of course, I made God wrong.
Wow.
Okay. And that was just a serious thing for me. I really was extremely angry with God. And so he was the most wrong person. If anybody was to blame, it was him. And so it started making me. And again, like I said, I was in a bubble because sometimes when you grow up in faith and you see miracles and things like that, and you always, people around you always make it out tragic situations, so it did pop the bubble for me. So I began to, actually, it helped me begin to see the world, and when I started to blame God for what happened to her, then I had to start looking at life around me just in general, like, man, people dying every day, people losing family members every day. Where you been? Little children are being hurt every day, and so if I, when going to question God on where was he when she was hurt, then it made me start questioning on, well, where were you when these little kids are being hurt, or this is happening? And so, like I said, it really, took me for a spin there. But it has turned out for the better. Like I say, it's hard to look at tragedy and say it worked out for the better. But in this case, it did wake me up and wake up my humanity and maybe start, looking at, people even outside of my inner circle or my family, having more compassion on the fact that, hey, because I lost someone, now I could have, actually, see that, okay, people are losing people every day and feel that way, in that way for them, some sympathy on others who are also going through the same situation.
Wow. That is, very hard. Yeah. And, hard. Hit home on so many levels.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Especially when you said, I made God wrong.
Yep.
That hit home. I think all three of us were sitting here like, yep.
Mm-hmm.
We felt that come through. I mean, we were able to connect and fully and understand, because we've all had our trials and tribulations. Yeah, we've lost our parents, and sequentially, quickly after another, before we could take a breath, and being so young, losing life like that. Mm-hmm. It does. It definitely shakes.
It challenges your faith.
Yeah,
for sure.
Shakes
for
you.
Sure. And you get lost sometimes, and it's just by the grace of God that you find your way back out. So you question him, but then you bring yourself back some way, somehow. He brings you back in and helps you through.
So I love the fact that you are so open to share something so deep and so personal. I really appreciate you doing that. So my final question for you is, when did you see the light of hope and possibility, and what actions did you start taking?
I guess when you said see the light of hope and possibility, I believe I had to come to the understanding and the realization that, no answer that I can get is going to satisfy me. So asking all the questions were, that was part of it. And I wanted some answers, and, but the reality was, and I'm a realist. I've always been one that way. Even with self, try to be as much as possible. And so I had to come to the, to the understanding that, dude, doesn't matter the answer you get, it's not going to bring her back. It's not going to change anything, And so, it was just that self-talk to say, okay, so what you going to do? You could be gone tomorrow. What you going to do? How are you going to use this to make sure that you're embracing every moment of life and appreciating every moment of life? And true story, I was on the way home with the family one evening, and a big sign on, I think, of one of the state forums. They always had little sayings, positive sayings up in the sign said, "Life is to be enjoyed, not endured." And light went off. and because I had never looked at life like that, because, like I said, we've always, like I said, I was in the religion. It was all about just enduring and making it over to the other side, But when I read that sign, life is to be enjoyed, not endured.
Yep.
And it clicked, and it made me take a hold of life and start appreciating life much more, and not living so much way up ahead, and just make sure I live in the moment and appreciate each moment. And so that really switched it up for me.
It's so important. The minute that you realize that, life is short, and you value every moment, like I think it changes your perspective on things, a whole lot. It really does.
Mm-hmm. And do you feel like that had like a lot of reflection in your music, in enjoying life and kind of making sure that it's present in your sound?
At that point, like I said, I was a gospel artist at that time. So I wrote in regards to that a lot of different songs, but I think it led up to this point right here, because I always loved R&B, but for whatever reason, religiously, it was wrong for me growing up. So I left religion. And so I credit her to the fact that I'm free today, and I'm embracing life, and I'm not judging. I'm not walking around judging this and judging that, because religion will cause you to do that. And so I left the judgmentalness aside and started judging myself, and started doing what I always wanted to do and loved to do, which was R&B and just different music in general. And so that's where I am today. And so now I'm appreciating it. It took almost 10 years to get to this place, but I'm here and I'm free and living, judgmental free, and just embracing life every moment I get. And so that's one of the major reasons that I'm doing music right now. The music that I'm doing right now is because, hey, this is what I love to do, and I'm finally doing it and embracing it and just living in the moment.
Okay. All right. So with the music aspect and just embracing life, you keep, you're really reflecting on that, and that, you're taking something so tragic and really taking it and turning it for good, and kind of utilizing that moment to launch you into the next realm and putting it, into your music. Do you feel like that is really important for us to hear when we're listening to your music?
Yeah, exactly. Of course, I want people to just be in the now.
Right.
So sometimes we're so stuck in yesterday and so focused on tomorrow that we miss today. And so, my music is just about life, love, and relationship, and it's just about right in the moment, just being in the moment. Yeah.
So your music is about life, love, and relationships. Okay. So are you?
Yeah, all the parts.
Okay. See. So what are something that you would say that you do to really embrace life besides your music? Because I know that's a big part for you.
Just, I'm a family man. And so just just embracing it and appreciating and enjoying the family each day. And just,
it's interesting that you
say that. Lot. I work out a lot. And I do that with my wife every day.
Okay.
It's something we've done for the last 2 years consecutively. We've done it off and on periodically, but so, and so that's, just embrace it, getting up early, making sure I do things wherever before I leave the house in the morning,
I love
handle
that.
business and things.
Yes.
So, just, I'm a father of 7. So, just embracing the children, making sure that, they feel in love and appreciated every moment, that I can. And so, not taking anything for granted.
Wow. So it's, as you said, life, love, relationship, and family being important. I think us kind of connecting and building those bridges, bringing our family together, having the cousins play together has really been a big part of us healing, right? And learning to kind of overcome and get through and heal through the challenges that we've been through. And I'm so happy to hear you say that that's, you know, some of the things that you're doing, embracing life, is that learning that, right, living in the now, being present with your family, working out, you know, apparently a lot of love, because 7 kids, woo, come on, Jana.
Oh, just R&B, baby.
Listen.
You will understand when you listen to my music.
I heard it. We get it. Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry.
All right. Thank you so much, Jay, for sharing. We will learn a little more about the real Jay Israel and his rise in the music industry. But first, it's time for Good Vibrations with Eshe.
So on Good Vibrations, we feature new music and vote whether the track has good vibes or needs to be short-circuited. Today, we're featuring music from our guest, the real Jay Israel. I have a really good vibe that he has good vibes. DJ, let's hear Say.
Say a man ain't supposed to cry. I tell you what happened, I'll just be telling you lies. True story, my heart speaks this time. I really need you back in my life. Yeah. I let my pride get in the way. When I said it didn't matter if you left or you stayed. Oh, babe, ever since you've been gone, I realize I'm no good on my own. So you come back to me, I need you back, baby. See, I'm forgiven for all my mistakes, yeah. See, our love will never fade, yeah. See, your heart will always be a safe place. So you come back to me, baby. Back to me, baby. See, everything is gonna be okay. Yeah. See, our love will never fade, never fade now. See, your heart will always be a safe place. Looking back on it, I was a fool. Who was I to think I could replace you? Took love for granted. Back and forth in my thoughts, I can't manage. I didn't treat you your worth. Now my heart's bleeding and it hurts. I wasn't what you needed, I was conceited. I'll just leave it in this verse. Say I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready to be the man you need and all that you deserve. See you come back to me, I need you back, baby. See I'm forgiven for all my mistakes, yeah. See our love will never fade, never fade, yeah. See your heart will always be a safe place. See you come back to me, baby. Back to me, baby. See everything is gonna be okay. Yeah. See our love will never fade, never fade now. See your heart will always be a safe place. Say you come back to me, oh baby. Say you come back, oh, say you come back to me.
All right. Neko, does Say get good vibes or is it going to get short circuited?
I say great vibes.
Nice. Kessie, what are you saying?
Loving it. Loving it.
I really love it. And then after hearing your story too, I definitely connected even more. So Jay, please share something about the creation of Say that surprised you.
I guess just because just the fact of writing that song, I've been married 23 years, so I've never experienced that personally. And so just the fact that I was able to write it. Because I had wrote different songs about different things. But there are no different areas and circumstances of relationship. And I realized I hadn't had any songs about a man, messing up and trying to get forgiveness. And so, I said, I need to write a song about that. And when I found the track and the track kind of just spoke to me, and I just started writing that song. And then, it didn't take long, surprisingly, because my process is just a little different when I'm writing. And it just came, and I was like, wow, and it happened to be pretty good, and my face like, oh, you wrote that. And I just had to picture, like, what would I feel like if I didn't have my girl, that's what I call my wife after 23 years, she's still my girl, And so I said, what would be? So, it was surprising that I was able to just get that out, having not personally really, been in that situation. That, like I said, I've been married 23 years.
Nice. Well, it definitely brought us some good vibes, that's for sure. So we're going to hear another track from Real J Israel on Good Vibrations Part 2. But for now, over to Kessie for the next interview.
Jay, we really appreciate you being on the show, and I can't wait to get into this part of the interview. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for having me again. I appreciate the support.
In this part, we're going to learn about some of the well-being challenges you face being in the entertainment industry, okay? So what is the number one well-being challenge you face as a performer? Please share the impact it has and the actions you take.
I think as a performer, I don't know if I can speak for most performers, but I'm sure I'm not alone in this. It would be, just the confidence, having self-confidence, because having to get up in front of people, not knowing what people are going to think about you, you been a performer, entertainer, you're definitely being judged. That's why people come to see you and they judge whether, hey, you're good or you're not. And so just having that self-confidence. And like I said, I'm a meditator. I'm one who's always, doing affirmations and things like that. And so affirmations are one of the biggest ways that I bounce back after if I'm feeling a little, not up to par, or, if I'm, having a little self-doubt, I just always try to remind myself, that I'm good, I'm okay, I'm enough, I'm great, I'm awesome, and so that's one of the biggest, challenges as a performer, is that confidence thing, but I always bounce back, just using some self-talk, good old self-talk and affirmations, just reminding myself, of how awesome that I am, that if life chose me, then I must be good, I'm good enough, I'm okay, the people are going to receive it as well, those who need to, so yeah. That's one of the biggest challenges right there, confidence.
And you know what? I think that goes for anybody and everybody in any industry, because if you're in sales, confidence. But even us doing this whole show, and talking about different things, going on YouTube, and you even look at YouTube influencers, they talk about that whole thing, like. It doesn't matter what level you're in, what industry you're in, you're always going to get judged by someone that doesn't feel good about themselves and feels like they have to put that on you. And it's about knowing that you're right. You are enough, we are enough. And I think that is the biggest hurdle for anybody in any industry, just knowing, you know what, I'm enough. I'll always be enough. And I'm here to be a blessing. And I think, that's an amazing thing when you know that you're enough and that you're a blessing,
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So when it comes to managing well-being, what sacrifices have you seen others make that may have been misguided or not well thought out?
Sacrifices others make, and when it comes to taking care of their own personal well-being.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I think the biggest sacrifice is that people make. I think they sacrifice their well-being versus making sacrifices concerning well-being with just dieting and different things that we put in ourselves. The foods that we choose to eat, the things that we choose to, you know what I'm saying, the vices that we choose to partake in. I believe that's been, for me, you know, just if I'm looking at people around me, you know, I don't see a lot of people making the biggest sacrifice to make sure that they that their well-being is okay. And hopefully I'm not being judgmental now, but you know, it's more the sacrificing of their well-being for the things that they choose to do.
That's an interesting statement. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, you're right.
100%. And they don't see it as that.
No, they may.
I don't.
I'm one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you're right.
I'm like, you know what you're
doing. You know what you're supposed to do, but
you just don't do it.
Right, you just don't do it. Like, you know, you're not supposed to eat that ice cream.
Well, the opposite. People who
you know what I'm saying? I said I'm not trying to judge nobody, but I mean that's a big thing you said.
Every time I look on that ice cream container, that's what I tell myself. You know, you're not supposed to go in that second scoop.
See, I'm big on well-being. I'm a vegan. I work out every day. I'm big on taking care of self-care, you know, because I understand it all ties in, whether it's physical, mental, you know, and spiritual. It all ties in. And so you have to take care of yourself all the way around.
It does.
It really does.
It does. Because when you're not feeling good, you don't put your best foot forward.
Exactly. Is it possible to be your best self and live up to your full potential if you're not well, you know, within yourself? And so I'm big on that. That's a major thing for me. It's just, you know, feeling the best you can possibly feel each day, and that don't just happen. You have to do that intentionally. And so, and that's taking care of, you know, everything, you know, the mental and the spiritual, physical, you know, parts of yourself. So yeah, big on that.
You know, since you're in such a challenging business, when it comes to your well-being, where do you draw the line? Like,
what are your boundaries that you've set up for yourself in terms of maintaining you and your family's well-being?
Mm-hmm.
Well, because you can get overwhelming with being an up-and-coming artist. You know, just trying to make things happen, and sometimes you get lost in that and forget that you need to, like I say, take that time and spend time with the family. And so, you know, try to be intentional with making sure I'm doing, you know, balancing it out. And sometimes I have to be reminded and tapped. And my wife, like I said, she's been my girl for a long time, so she don't mind making sure that I'm reminded that they're here if I get a little tied up sometimes, because you can get tied up, you know, chasing your goals and dreams. And that's a challenge when you have a family, you know, even more of a challenge, because you need to have that tunnel vision and focus and making sure you do everything possible to achieve your goals. But at the same time, when you have family, you have to make sure that you're doing everything possible to make sure that, you know, you keep your family intact as well, you know, making sure that you're taking the right time and, you know, and being, you know, being attentive to them as well. So it's a challenge, but like I said, I got good people around me. My wife, number one fan, and so she don't mind reminding me when I get a little sidetracked sometimes.
And that's what I was going to ask you, because I was like, are there like people that hold you accountable to that, to make sure that
you stay
on track, that you stay on track, and that you're good and that your family is good? Because at the end of the day,
that's what matters.
That's what matters. And you know that firsthand, right? And so I feel like for me, and I don't know, you know, for probably most of us, is that we have to make sure that we are keeping those boundaries in that line, and we have somebody to hold us accountable. You know, for you, it's probably your husband. Like, hey,
but you know what? I think the kids kind of hold you.
Oh my gosh, 100%.
They are nonstop. Now, I know my kids are nonstop. You have 7. So Jay, I mean,
most of mine are adults now, but they still, you know, even the adults, they still,
they do.
They keep you straight. Oh yeah, they command a lot of attention. They command it. Like I said, it's not an option. You don't care how tired you are, what you've already done outside of them. They're gonna make sure they get what they need out of you. So they keep you going. Exactly.
They sure do.
Is there anything that is out of where you're like, that's no, we're not doing Sundays. You know, it's 12 o'clock. It's church time. We're going to pray together. We're going to eat together. You can call me back about that video. Do you have those kind of hard lines drawn for you?
You know, and I'm an honest guy. And so you asking me, so I have to be honest. And sometimes I get a little lost with that. You know, that's something that my girl get on to me about, and I'm working on it. So I'm honest. Now I could tell you something else, but I'm honest. Sometimes, you know, because I'm so, like I said, you get so into it, and you're so excited when you're talking about, you know, your passion and stuff that you're creating, and so you get, you know. But you know, I don't, like I said again, I'm one who, like, I got that better half right there who's gonna say, hey man, this family come. What you doing? And so you know, and then I have started putting the phone on do not disturb, you know, during certain times. And so I've started doing that, you know, more. And just put the phone on do not disturb. That way nothing comes through. I'm not distracted, you know, when it's time for me to just, like, say, be with the family, whether we, you know, watching a movie. Like I said, we do meditations and stuff, you know, together. And so, you know, whether we're doing those type of things, you know, we just put that phone on do not disturb for, you know, and, you know, during, you know, certain times, just to make sure that, hey, my attention is where it needs to be when it needs to be there.
Right. I love that.
Well, Jay, I want to thank you so much for sharing. I think for another visit to Good Vibrations. Eshe, over to you, girl.
Welcome back, guys, to Good Vibrations. We have another track from Jay Israel. Woo! So, DJ, let's hear No Pressure.
We talk and stay up, watch a movie. Whatever you want, it's just you and me. I can change up your mood ring. I can make up your lucid dream. No pressure at all. It's no pressure. It's no pressure at all. I'm gonna let you feel what you want, feel how you need. I'm feeling you, so if you're feeling me, change up the tempo. Let me take you places we can go. Play it safe and just keep it simple. Your body's a temple, and I just wanna put in the time. We've got the rest of our lives, so what do you have in mind? Same thing that I had in mind. We talk and stay up, watch a movie. Whatever you want, it's just you and me. I can change up your mood ring. I can make up your lucid dream. Then we can wake up and do the things. You with no makeup and blue jeans. There's no pressure, no. There's no pressure. There's no pressure at all. There's no pressure. My body, your body, it stays between us, won't tell nobody. I can make you feel like nothing else is real. Starts with the touch, seal with the kiss. When you surrender, nothing but bliss. Blow out the candle, I'll be your wish. Let me put you to sleep and have you dreaming this, yeah. No pressure, no pressure, no pressure, no, no, no. We talk and stay up, watch a movie. Whatever you want, it's just you and me. I can change up your mood ring. I can make up your lucid dream. Then we can wake up and do the things. You with no makeup and blue jeans. There's no pressure, no. There's no pressure. There's no pressure at all. There's no pressure.
Well, that was No Pressure. Love it. Kessie, good vibes or short circuited?
Really good vibes. You should see everybody here.
Oh, the verdict.
I say there was a lot of pressure,
Okay.
but it was
Hey.
Okay. You had us all under pressure over here. You got some good vibes going, boo. Thank you.
Hey.
Thank you for
Hey,
letting
that's
for your music.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, ladies. Thank you. Yeah, that's the point. You know, that's the thing. No pressure, right?
That's what you were saying, but that's not what was
Exactly.
happening. I'm a little bit confused.
Exactly. That's a good.
How can our listeners keep up with you?
All the social media. I am the real J Israel on Instagram. You know, the real J Israel for is you know, looking for the music on wherever they're selling music, iTunes, you know, or streaming music, Spotify, you know, Google Play, wherever. That's the real J Israel. But I am the real J Israel on all social media, Facebook, IG, different things like that. Yeah.
Nice.
Connect with me. YouTube is the real J Israel on YouTube.
Listen,
Connect with me. Check out the videos. Yeah.
well, when they see the video and they hear the song, I'm sure you're gonna have a lot of lady followers, you know. But
We bring it to pressure.
23 years, he's off the market. I'm sorry, Jay, gotta put that on.
Yeah, that's why I always mention it. Because they say, look, I love R&B. I love talking, like I said, love and relationship. And you know, so I always put it out there that, you know, I got my girl, but you know, I'm trying to help the ladies and the fellas out. You know, give them some of that good old down to earth R&B.
Give it up.
Help the relationship a little bit.
Keep it up.
We need it.
So we're gonna hear a little bit more from the real J Israel in the finale, but for right now, it's time for Nico with our weekly butt kick actions for energy movement. Nico, over to you.
Okay, so butt kick actions for energy and empowerment. Each week, I'm going to give you 4 actions to take that will empower your energy. It can take the form of mental, spiritual, physical, or even financial energy. This week, we will be focusing on actions for clearing the space for energy to flow powerfully, or in Jay's case, powerfully. Many times we feel a lack of energy because we have spiritual and mental blocks to the flow of energy manifesting powerfully. Once we remove those barriers and take actions in the physical world, we tap into an unlimited supply of energy and abundance. So action 1, clean your house. Mm-hmm. That is such a powerful and, you know, cleansing thing to do. Clean your car, computer files, text messages, emails, anything where there's clutter, because you want to just kind of allow that positive energy to flow in. Because once it does that, it gives you that empowerment, right? To really do and be all that you can be. I feel like if I go into a space and it's cluttered,
I lose it.
Right. You cannot really function well, right? You just kind of are not in your best space.
Nope.
But once it's clean, it's clear, you know,
everything. Your
right.
energy changes. Everything shifts. You feel light. Right. Yes,
if you go into a space to relax and it's cluttered, you're not going to relax. You're not going to feel, you know, relaxed and just, yes, you do. You feel that nervous energy to kind of do something about it or do something different, right? Or sometimes you're in a space and you don't realize why you're feeling anxious. I find myself that. I start like yelling at the kids, like, ah, and I realize, oh, the dishes are not washed. Mm-hmm. The bed is not made. So once that's done, then I'm like, oh, hi.
Yeah.
So tip for any man that wants to know. No, Action number 2, make a list of 10 people, groups, or organizations where you have upsets or hold resentments.
Wow.
So this is really important to do, because if you are not sure of what baggage you're carrying with you, you're not going to know what to unpack and leave it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're carrying around just burdens and anger, right?
Mm-hmm.
I come to you and I say, let's do A, or let's go and do something, or be motivated to do something. You're not really going to want to, because you feel that weight carrying you down.
Mm-hmm.
You don't feel empowered to do much of anything, because you're carrying all this stuff with you. And I use it all the time when I speak to people about, relationships or, life,
Mm-hmm.
when you're moving forward. If you're walking around, and I use the big mall all the time, I saw the last mall. If you go to that mall and you have a suitcase with a couple bricks in it, is you're shopping, even if you're going to Versace, you're going to these great places, but you've got this heavy bag with you. Is it going to be any fun?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to feel the weight of what you're carrying with you.
Let it go.
You're not going to feel, right,
Let it go.
as good as you could if you were free
Mm-hmm.
and just able to do what you want to do. Right?
And it even touches back to what Jay's saying. Life is too short. Life is too short. All of that negative energy and it's too much. Why carry that around every day? You need to enjoy each day. And when you're negative and you have all that anger or frustration and you're bringing in that negative energy, it's too much. It's way too much.
Yeah, so that's part of that cleaning. Take out, go with no suitcase.
The action list. So the list of 10, you may need to be like, just make a list of everybody.
No, it's true.
Everybody that you're upset with.
And the anger and frustration,
Mm-hmm.
so that you can come just as you are, ready to go forward.
Come as
But
you are.
here's the thing, and I hear this a lot. The minute you let everything go,
Everything.
you allow
blessings
to come into your life.
Blessings upon
Like-
blessings.
The minute you release,
Mm-hmm.
because there's no space for both energies to exist in one. So the minute you let it go, you allow all the positivity to download and come into your being.
But not even that, you allow yourself to be more creative. You allow yourself to write better songs.
Mm-hmm.
You allow yourself to just flow.
To live.
Think about how you write better or what you do better
Mhm.
when you're free to just create. You're not holding on
I was
to
gonna
all
say
this
something,
resentment.
but-
I know. I was thinking the same thing. All right. Action number 3. Make a list of 3 situations where you fell short and have not forgiven yourself or lack freedom.
Mhm.
I think we could write a list about 10 situations.
Well, I think they did that. I think Say says that when he wrote that. In some of the lyrics, you hear, I let my ego get in the way. I let my pride get in the way.
Yeah.
Right? So
Exactly.
right?
Mhm.
So this is some of the things you feel like you have to let go,
Mhm.
So I definitely, I definitely feel that. So if you're making a list of situations where you fell short, you haven't forgiven yourself, you lack freedom, get rid of that, remove it, cleanse. So it's all about cleansing and bringing in that positive energy to move you forward.
But you know what? Making that list makes a lot of sense, because here's the thing. Sometimes all these different situations, but the minute you take it from your head
And put it on
and you
paper.
put it on paper,
Mhm.
you really see everything that's bothering you, that's holding you back, that's causing all this chaos and conflict and everything within you.
Mhm.
I definitely, I think I'm going to do that for sure.
Okay. And then action number 4, contact the people on your list who need forgiveness
Oh, wow.
the most and forgive them. So contact the people on your list who need forgiveness the most and forgive them.
Okay, so
Ooh.
I think we're going to contact them by mail. I'm just going to put that out.
Wait. Most
That's a
important,
heavy one right there.
you gotta forgive yourself.
Heavy.
You gotta forgive yourself.
Heavy. So with that one, I'm going to take that one and as they say, write it on a piece of paper,
There's a lot.
all your feelings, and then burn it. Right? But get it out. Just cleanse, get it out. Write it to them as if you'd be writing, that you're going to give them the letter.
Yeah, but here's the key to this. You have to forgive yourself.
You do.
Mm.
You
You have to
have
forgive
to
them,
forgive
yeah.
yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't, you will not be able to truly
Mm-hmm.
forgive. And when you're able to truly forgive, you're healed, and that person no longer triggers you.
Yeah, for sure. And it's an amazing
Mhm.
feeling.
That person no longer, you are free because you let the baggage go. You've taken the bricks, you've thrown them to whoever's, you've given them, put them on the side of the road. And that's it.
You go hit him with the brick. That was forgiven.
Hey, listen.
Oh, that's right.
That letter, when you write it all down, you put the brick in there.
Tie it together. Don't say Necka sent you though. Don't write my name in there. I have nothing to do with this. So it's really important that we do this. And I think that's work that we all are going to do, for ourselves. And it's something that actually personally we've all been working on individually.
Mm-hmm.
We've had a lot going on in our
Mm-hmm.
lives.
Mm-hmm.
2020 has been a big eye opener for us.
Yeah.
And so we've definitely been doing a lot of self-work, family work.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think, forgiveness definitely was high on that list
Yeah, for sure.
for us.
Yeah.
So, hopefully this is something that, you guys can utilize. And if this was, a blessing for all of you guys, and these actions will be something, we can continue to use in our lives. And, even if you get up at the crack of dawn to go work out with your partner, we still are putting in, a lot of these actions to make sure that we're continuously, cleansing ourselves, empowering ourselves to be the best version of ourselves.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So the chicks and our producer will be doing this work. We'll share our results on the next episode. So come back. I think it's time for Kessie with the finale. So over to you, Kessie.
Thanks, Nico. Time for the final woot woot.
Mm-hmm.
Jay, I have one final question for you. If you had a magic wand and you could change one thing for the better, what would that one thing be?
If I had a wand, if I could change one thing for the better. That's a hard question when you want to help everything. But I guess the one thing for the better would just be, if it's just only one thing, I think it would be the way we as a human family view one another. I think because that would fix so many things. If we had the right perception, if we actually looked at each other in the right way as one. And so that I would change how we view each other. Humankind view one another, period. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what? That's deep. That's really deep. Because you had a magic wand to change one thing, and your one thing would be to help everybody else. That says a lot about it. I really appreciate that one.
And admire.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Jay, we want to thank you for being on the show. Please share how your listeners again can follow you and keep up to date. And feel free to shout out your peeps or anybody that you want to shout out.
Again, I said, just the Real Jay Israel. I am the Real Jay Israel on social media. I am the Real Jay Israel on all the streaming sites. And just, I wouldn't be here without my family, or, be able to pursue these goals and dreams, or without my team, my co-writer and my co-producers. And so, just shout out to my team as a whole. They know who they are.
And the Mrs. Real Jay Israel.
Oh, that's an A1 from day one. That's my girl. That's my girl.
Love that.
Yeah, people be saying, y'all married. I said, no, that's my girl, man. That's what she is.
Okay.
We still like each other.
I love it. Thanks again for joining us today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you guys for having me. Like I said, we appreciate your support. It means everything for an independent artist, surely. So thank you guys for having me.
Thank you so much.
It's been a great time.
Eshe, over to you.
Nice. So I'm just going to leave with one thought. If what you thought to be true turned out not to be true, when would you want to know? That's it from us, from Chicks Outside the Box. Thanks for listening. I will catch you guys soon. Woo!
Hey.
Hey.
Hey.